Shrek 5 is real, and we actually know more than you think. Between leaked images, shifting release dates, and a handful of cast confirmations, DreamWorks has quietly dangled crumbs. From midlife crisis to teenage rebels, the speculations for the new movie are all over the place with Reddit detectives and fans. So before the official plot drops, let's break down everything we know, think, and hope about Shrek 5. Shrek didn't just enter the early 2000s with its first movie, it kicked the castle doors down. When the first film dropped in 2001, it flipped the entire fairy tale formula on its head. No elegant princes, no perfect princesses, no sparkling kingdoms. It was just a grumpy ogre, a loudmouthed donkey, and a parody-laced world that refused to take itself seriously. However, Shrek proved that animated films could be chaotic, sarcastic, meta, and still deeply emotional. As a result, it didn't take long for the franchise to become a cultural reset. Shrek 2 exploded into a global phenomenon, redefining how sequels could outperform originals. And years later, the internet revived it all over again. From the "somebody once told me" meme to TikTok edits of Shrek running in slow motion, the franchise slipped into a second life, what fans lovingly called the Shrek Renaissance. Suddenly, a whole new generation discovered the magic, the comedy, and the ridiculously quotable lines. Across 4 films, Shrek continued pushing boundaries. The third and fourth movies performed well, but Shrek Forever After wrapped things up in a surprisingly emotional bow. Shrek struggled with identity, purpose, and family, leaving many fans wondering if that really was the end, or just a pause. And now, after the success of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish and endless fans' demand, it feels like the swamp is calling again. So with a legacy this massive, expectations are sky high. If there's one thing the internet has made clear, it's that the world is more than ready for another Shrek movie. The fandom has grown into this hilarious multi-generational mix with Gen Z discovering Shrek through memes, edits, and ironic humor, while millennials cling to the original films with pure nostalgia. Together, they've turned Shrek from a movie franchise into a shared cultural language, something everyone quotes, laughs about, and weirdly treasures. Scroll through Reddit, Twitter, or YouTube comments and you'll see the same sentiment repeated over and over again. We need Shrek 5. DreamWorks, stop teasing us. Just drop the trailer already. It's become a collective cry, and with every leaked detail or interview snippet, the hype spikes all over again. And honestly, the timing couldn't be better. Hollywood is deep in its legacy sequel era, bringing back old favorites with fresh twists. But more importantly, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish proved beyond doubt that the Shrek universe still hits. The animation evolved, the tone matured, and audiences loved it, making Shrek's return feel not just possible, but inevitable. With excitement building and fans refreshing timelines for updates, it's the perfect moment to talk about the cast and crew stepping back into the swamp. So here's the cast and crew that we know are locked in for Shrek 5 so far, and what that could mean for tone, story, and nostalgia. The core trio from the original Shrek saga is officially back, with Mike Myers returning as Shrek, Eddie Murphy back as Donkey, and Cameron Diaz reprising Princess Fiona. Murphy himself confirmed he'd already recorded some of his lines. So yes, Donkey is coming. At the helm, we have Walt Dorn directing, which is huge, because he's not new to this world. He worked as a writer and artist on Shrek 2 and Shrek the Third, and served as head of story on the last movie, so he gets the vibe. Because of that, there's reason to believe Shrek 5 could aim to recapture the spirit of the originals with that familiar humor-heart balance. As for the rest, no confirmed word yet on Antonio Banderas, who plays Puss in Boots, but that doesn't mean he's ruled out. There are also early looks at the next generation with the supposed kids of Shrek and Fiona, the likes of Fergus and Farkle, who've been teased as part of the character lineup for Shrek 5. All this together hints at a movie that could blend nostalgia with fresh dynamics, original voices and familiar tone, but new character arcs and perhaps a generational twist. But can we truly say that everyone is just as excited or happy about the upcoming movie? Shrek 5 hype is loud, but the opinions are even louder. The moment early concept art, leaked renders, and supposed production stills started circulating online, Reddit split clean down the middle. One half of the fandom loves the idea of Shrek adopting the painterly storybook-style animation we saw in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. They say it's fresh, expressive, and finally gives the franchise a modern upgrade. But the other half? Oh, they are furious. They want that classic DreamWorks look from Shrek 2. Slightly gritty, slightly chaotic, and absolutely not polished. Some fans argue that giving Shrek a soft, glossy Disney glow-up kills the entire swamp camp aesthetic. Memes started flying around about Shrek losing his mud-powered texture, and honestly, they might not be entirely wrong. And then comes the redesign debate, and this one is messy. The idea of an older Shrek and Fiona plus teen versions of Fergus and Farkle created instant chaos. Some people love the realism with characters aging, stories evolving, and families shifting. Others say the franchise should stay ageless and cartoonish. And in the middle of all this, Reddit delivered its greatest unhinged opinion yet. The donkey should never age. And yeah, that one became a whole meme thread by itself. And finally, the scariest fear of all, the one and only modern humor. Fans are terrified Shrek 5 will be stuffed with TikTok jokes, slang, influencer references, and meta punchlines. Some argue Shrek has always been meta, so it fits. Others say the franchise should avoid trendy humor that expires in 6 months. It's chaotic, it's dramatic, it's very Shrek fandom. But despite the chaos, everyone has their own theories, and honestly, it's quite a journey. When it comes to what Shrek 5 might actually be about, fans have cooked up dozens of theories. But out of all the speculation, 2 storylines consistently rise to the top, and both feel shockingly plausible based on what we've seen, what DreamWorks tends to do, and how the franchise has evolved. Theory number 1 is about the teen kids adventure plot. This is currently the most popular fan theory, and it builds directly on the supposed first-look images of Shrek and Fiona's kids, specifically the teenage versions of Fergus and Farkle. Fans think the story will center around a classic animated family conflict, with one child trying to prove themselves, gets in trouble, and triggers a quest that forces the whole family to change. The most widespread version goes like this. One of Shrek's sons, frustrated by living in his father's shadow, runs away from the swamp to make a name for himself. Maybe he wants adventure, maybe he's tired of being the ogre prince, maybe he's rebelling in true teenage fashion. The theory lines up with DreamWorks' recent storytelling style, with older heroes grappling with midlife questions, generational shifts, and emotional maturity. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish nailed this formula, blending action with deep themes about fear, family, and legacy. Shrek 5 taking a similar direction feels almost inevitable. Plus, the aging hints in cast announcements, early concept art, and Eddie Murphy's comments add fuel to the fire. A story centered on family growing pains seems like the most natural evolution. Theory number 2 is on the villain return. The second dominant theory is more epic, with a full-scale conflict threatening Far, Far Away itself. This one comes from fans who believe the sequel will tie back to classic Shrek villains, especially the Charming family line. One speculation suggests a new antagonist connected to Prince Charming, or even the fairy godmother's legacy, maybe a sibling, a cousin, or someone seeking revenge. Another variation imagines Far, Far Away being destabilized by a magical curse or political takeover, forcing Shrek, Fiona, Donkey, and possibly even Puss in Boots to reunite for a kingdom-saving adventure. Some fans think the film may subtly connect to The Last Wish, especially the lore surrounding the wishing star. A magical imbalance or consequence from those events could easily spill into Shrek's world. This theory sticks because it matches director Walt Dorn's comments about returning to the roots of the franchise, meaning big ensembles, big stakes, and big emotions. And let's be real, a movie bringing back side characters like Arthur, Doris, or the fairy tale ensemble would absolutely go viral. Until DreamWorks drops the official plot, these theories remain our best guess. Shrek 5 isn't just another sequel, it's the return of a cultural icon that refuses to fade. With its massive legacy, a fandom that's louder than ever, and a cast stepping back into their iconic roles, the anticipation feels unreal. Yes, the leaks sparked debates, the animation glow-up caused chaos, but that's the power of Shrek. It gets people talking, laughing, arguing, theorizing, and caring. Whatever the actual plot may be, one thing is clear, that this franchise still has magic left in the swamp, and fans are absolutely ready for it. So let us know, which theory do you think is the real Shrek 5 plot, and what changes or similarities do you hope to see? Thanks for watching.